Hello, welcome to YPs and CT. Today we'll hear from 4 young professionals about what it's like to live and work in the Hartford region. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Emblem Health, Connecticut, and WellSpark for their support. And with that, I'll turn it over to our moderator, Tyler Losure. Tyler, take it away.
Perfect. Thank you and welcome, and thank you for your time this afternoon. I'm excited to be here with you all and to hear from our lovely panelists here in just a moment and talk to you all about the great things and the exciting things of what it means to live, work, and play here in the Hartford region, the insurance capital of the world. So before we dive into, what makes Hartford a great place for insurance and finance and just Hartford in general, what's so great about it, let's introduce our panelists. So, let's hear what we all have to say. Learn about each of you. Can give us like your Wikipedia summary, of who you are, where you're from, where you work, how you ended up here. So I'll start in my top left with here with Dan.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tyler. My name is Dan Sardilli. I am an agent at my family's insurance brokerage, and I'm also the president of a young professionals group that's east of the River Chamber of Commerce called SPARC. So we'll talk plenty about SPARC for young professionals and the value that we've brought with Hype in the last few years. But I grew up in North Haven, so a little bit farther south, and then went to college in Massachusetts, and then decided to come back to Connecticut because there was so much to offer here. So I'm excited to talk with you guys about it today.
Thanks so much. And keeping across my screen on the top here, let's go over to Kristina.
Good afternoon. My name is Kristina Beaudoin. I am the Community Relations Manager at Bank of America here in Greater Hartford. I am from Newington, Connecticut. I went to school at UConn and I live in Farmington. The plan was always to get out, but once I was here as a young professional, I liked it too much to leave. So I'm sure we'll get into that a lot more. And thanks for joining us today.
Love it. Thank you. And Octave, how are you?
Good. Thanks. So hi everyone. My name is Octave Muhirwa. I'm a software engineer at MassMutual. I've been kind of living in the Connecticut area for 3 years now. I'm kind of the transplant. So I'm originally from Rwanda, lived for about 8 years in Boston, and then finally moved to Connecticut 3 years ago. And it's been a lot of fun and still here and having fun.
Love it. Thanks so much. And for myself, my name is Tyler Losure. I work for Voya Financial on our marketing side of things, and I'm also the current chair of Hype. I'm also a transplant to Connecticut from the New York, New Jersey area. I came up here for school, got into University of Hartford, and then I stayed there for my graduate program, got a job, fell in love with the Hartford area, got engaged here. We just bought a house. So my fiance and I are really making the Hartford area home. So we love it here, and we're excited to continue to share our passion with you all and tell you why we love Hartford, and then also, what the great things are about the insurance and the finance industry. So as you heard briefly here from our panelists, we all are in some regard in the finance insurance industry, in the finance insurance space. And actually a few of us this morning were just at a breakfast with Mayor Luke Bronin of Hartford, and, really talking about how Hartford is the insurance capital of not just the United States, but of the world. So let's talk insurance and finance. Let's talk the industry a little bit. What's an exciting selling point, would you say, for someone that's either getting into finance or insurance, or someone that's considering that as a career? What would you sell them on? We'll start with Kristina.
So I think there's a lot of opportunity, in Hartford for young professionals, but especially in those specific fields. So if you think about, 2 industries that you'd be able to build a network, from the bottom up, say that you don't know anybody here, you automatically have that connect point, if you're in the finance world or in the insurance world. Ton of different companies here, a lot of young professionals who are both local and transplants, just trying to kind of, have an awesome work-life balance and get immersed into the culture here. So I think just like the sheer numbers of people around you is, encouraging, and you can't help but build a network in it. And then, of course, you're surrounded by all the other industries that kind of complement it. And it's just a cool kind of mix of, like-minded people, but then creative people, and you can't help but feel like part of a fun culture.
Yeah, agreed. And how about you, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a page right out of Kristina's book. I would say growth. I think that there's a lot of opportunity here. I think that obviously with some of the staples in the insurance and finance industry that call Hartford home, it makes complete sense, like Kristina was saying, to build a network of high-powered individuals in this area that are already finding success and have already built a name for themselves. So I would say that, and then I hope not to steal anything from Octave's book, but I think that in fintech and insurtech, there's a lot of opportunity there too. So I don't want to steal any of his thunder, but these industries are ripe for modernization, as a lot of you guys know. So there's a lot of potential.
Yeah, Octave, you're more on the software development side of things. What's your perspective? What's the selling point for you?
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with Dan. I think, especially in insurance, there's like different companies in and around Hartford or in insurance, they're spending tons of money to modernize their technology systems. So there's a lot of opportunities in that regard, and it kind of creates a lot of challenges and a lot of opportunities. There's a startup ecosystem in Hartford about insurtech and fintech companies that are coming here. So you kind of have that network as well. So it's I feel like, insurance does have that reputation, but like I didn't really know anything about it 3 years ago. But being honest, I've been really having fun just because of the challenges and opportunities that are presented.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Great perspectives. And then, I'm sure folks, especially in the college age, our audience has some idea of what insurance and finance might be, but what's something looking at your day-to-day, that may not be something, someone thinks about when they think about a finance or an insurance job that excites you about, going to work each day? Octave, we'll keep it with you. What's something going into your job every day that maybe someone's not always thinking about when they think of finance and insurance?
Yeah, so basically, I'm on a small team and we develop different products. And so what's exciting for now, I just pitch MassMutual just because that's where I work now. I think as a technologist, I'm just working with the latest technologies, and and that just becomes exciting just because whatever that's in the market you're using. So, and then like the problem that you're solving, I think right now what's exciting is that I'm kind of working on a distributed system, and that's just kind of it just has its own engineering challenge. And I think that what makes it even more exciting. But I think one thing that I don't really work particularly on this product, but that's something where I think to highlight to the audience of the breadth of the opportunities, for instance, is it takes a lot of time if you're selling life insurance, because that's one product MassMutual sells. And usually I think they have to send you a nurse. But one of the initiatives they're kind of thinking about working on lately is kind of like with the fact that everybody was wearing an Apple Watch nowadays, can we analyze your data without you just submitting and just giving you a quote in less than, let's say, a minute, whereas it used to take 5 full days. So something like that kind of shows you the innovative, different approach that different companies are using. So that's, if you're interested in technology, please join, and it's you'll be surprised on how much you can learn and do.
That's great. How about Dan?
Yeah, so I mean, something that gets me out of bed every day is, it's as corny as it sounds, working with people, working with small business owners. I think a little bit of background, we're a really small town, independently owned insurance agency. So we help people with auto and homeowners insurance, but I also talk with a lot of small business owners. And it's really interesting to just really analyze how specific each industry is and how to protect them from risks that they might not even know that are out there. So it's something, a lot of a big education piece for me, a lot of teaching, a lot of talking about insurance products, but also really getting down to the nitty gritty of what the pain points are for business owners and trying to help them solve those things. So it's not just like order taking or really just assembly line type of work where it's the same thing every day. And that variety is really important to me. It keeps me problem solving, keeps me competitive. As opposed to just punching the same time clock every single day. So that's what I like.
I love it. And Kristina?
Yeah, so I think about, when I was in college and I decided on finance, I was like, I'm good at math, I'm good at numbers, that seems like a natural fit for me. And I think as you get into the field, you realize how important it is to build relationships with people, not only for the success of the business, but to develop yourself, to really advance within the company that you're in, and to really, help the company be well positioned within the local market. So I'm surprised at how much time I spend kind of dedicated off of Excel and off of these, systems that I thought I would be on all day, really focusing on building out relationships within the community, telling our story within the community, learning from mentors within my, line of business and with other lines of business, just to kind of, be the most well-rounded individual that I can be, and to present our company well in the community. And, I think we'll get into it more as this goes on, but there's so much opportunity even within conventionally, straight line finance jobs or straight line insurance jobs. There's so many different tangents that you can take, so many different areas within the company that you can go into. So I think that surprised me is, sometimes your path isn't as straightforward as you think it's going to be, in a good way.
100% agree. I always joke that I stumbled into the finance world. I was a marketing communications major in college. I ended up doing some event planning for an accounting nonprofit group for a long time. And now I made my way over to Voya Financial. And it's just like, how did I end up here? But, it's so funny too. And to talk about, like, yes, Voya is a financial company. I'm not on a financial advisor side, but I'm still producing a lot of the content that our clients and Voya clients receive every day. And it's, financial education. And I can track a marketing campaign for one of my clients and see, hey, this person, because of an email I helped craft and put together and send out, they now know this about their 401k retirement savings plan. They can contribute to it. They're, taking this action step because of something I was a part of. And that's really cool. I think financial literacy, especially at a young age, is just something that's not really talked about as much. So that excites me and keeps me going, is that direct measurable impact I can see on someone's financial confidence, if you will. And so and kind of looking at your career as a whole and where you're at now, if you could go back and give your younger self or someone going into the insurance and finance industry, one piece of advice or something that has really stuck with you, what would that piece of advice be? We'll start with Octave.
Man, it's a good question.
Don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, no problem. I think it's just kind of I think I would tell myself just to be open-minded, and going to Kristina's point, like, relationships are extremely important no matter which industry and where you are. And I think I'm lately trying to invest in relationships a lot more, because it basically helps you in any with the work you're trying to do, with everything you're trying to accomplish. You still need to work with different people. So I think I would definitely highlight that to myself a little bit more.
I love it. Kristina?
My advice would be, wherever your first job is, love it, hate it, somewhere in between, just do it as well as you can. Because, you might be in that job for 1 year, you might be in it for 10 years, but it's unlikely that that's the job that you're ultimately going to land on forever. I think it's more important to build your network out and show people the quality of your work and your desire to work hard, so they have confidence to kind of tap you on the shoulder when a different opportunity comes up. So that would be my biggest piece of advice. Do whatever you're doing well, and the doors will kind of open from there.
Yeah, for sure. And Dan, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, as silly as it sounds, I kind of wish I got into insurance a little bit earlier. There are perks where I was not even aware that they existed, that I take advantage of on a daily basis, that I really appreciate now, that I didn't have in my 9 to 5, those first few years I had getting out of college. So I'm really thankful for that. And then another piece is that you can learn so much from people in different industries, or even in similar industries in the same exact position. I think a lot of what we focus on for our young professional group is collaboration instead of competition. And I think that there's this fear out there that, oh, someone else who's in the same exact position isn't going to want to work with me. But if you both come at it with the right attitude, you can learn so much from each other. I think that there's so much wisdom that we miss out on because we're afraid to talk to the competition. So I would encourage my past self to do that a little bit more.
Yeah, no, that's all amazing advice, and thank you for sharing. And if I could just add to that, I love the idea of just keeping an open mind, putting yourself out there into those uncomfortable situations, attend a networking event, a hype or a SPARC event by yourself. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know what opportunity is going to present yourself just by talking to someone like Dan or myself or Kristina or Octave. You never know who we are and what our roles are and what power we possess in terms of hiring or opening a door for you. So that actually is a great transition, because one of the things I love about Hartford is just that it's a small city, but it's got such a tight, close-knit network that you can really leverage that network. So kind of keeping with that theme of Hartford, what does the Hartford region to you have that, sets it apart from other cities, whether it be a Boston or, maybe a smaller city comparable, like a Jacksonville, and might be a little bit bigger, but what does Hartford, what does Hartford have that sets it apart? We'll start with Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really unique city. Like you said, it's a tight-knit professional community. I think you have the big staples that are in the area that kind of flood in a lot of talent. So I think that there's a really diverse pool of talent from, the bigwigs like Aetna and Travelers, the Hartford, in our industries, which is impressive. But I think that it's really great to see, and I'll just talk about some of the regions that I kind of frequent too, that right outside of the city are some really dynamic groups and businesses as well. So it's not just everything only happens in Hartford. You can go 15 minutes outside of the city and really get everything from West Hartford to Glastonbury to Bristol and ESPN. I mean, there's so many different and exciting things happening right in this area, which is attractive.
Yeah, 100%. Kristina, what do you think sets Hartford apart from other cities?
Definitely echo Dan's comments. I love that you have Hartford, which has its own kind of happenings. You have West Hartford, you have Glastonbury, you have Old Wethersfield. You can kind of go anywhere. Hartford in particular, I love that I can just walk downstairs from my building, grab a yoga mat and go do yoga on the park, or walk down to the riverfront and, have a 3-mile walk on the river with a friend, and then hop up to a bar for a drink. And I never have to get in my car. So I think that it has accessibility that a lot of towns or a lot of cities don't have. Yard Goat Stadium is a stone's throw away. Hartford Athletic Stadium is a stone's throw away. And, especially when it's nice out, I mean, every night of the week, there is something to do or something to find: a workout class, a game, a seminar, a gathering, a get together, a party on the street, a gathering on Pratt Street. So, and I forgot the XL Center is right there too. So UConn basketball, you can't beat it. It's just, you've got a little bit of everything right at your doorstep, not really requiring, a ton of time with travel and planning and getting around. So I think it helps with, a nice work-life balance in that regard.
Awesome. How about Octave?
Yeah, no, Harvard's great. I think it's, I love the small feel of it. So I think I used to live in Boston, but I think for large cities, I don't know, I feel like for me, it's easy to just feel like a cog in a wheel, where it's hard to build networks. It was hard to connect with people. And I don't know, it was almost instantaneous when I moved here and I joined Hive. Everybody just so welcoming. And I don't know, in the span of a couple of months, I already had, like a community of people. If I needed help, wherever I needed help with, I knew somebody who's like, I can call Tyler, like, hey, I'm trying to work on this thing. Do you know anybody? He'd be like, all right, here's a list of 5 people. And I don't know, that is something that is so important, and it's not easily found in other places.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, and we'll talk about this here in a minute, but that's what's kept me here too. Being from a place like right outside New York City, having family in all the, a lot of the major metropolitan areas around the country, I've seen what that's like. And, coming up to Hartford and going to the University of Hartford, it had that small school feel where I knew everybody. My high school was the same way. And I've always kind of thrived in that environment where I knew everybody. I was able to rely on them. I knew what everyone else had going on, and we were all able to help each other. And the city of Hartford and the region of Hartford, the West Hartford, the East Hartford, Glastonbury, we all have that kind of same approach where we're all neighboring towns, and yes, we compete in sports, but it's all this sense of camaraderie. It's just a nice feel here. And so, and as a young professional, if there's anything else you want to add about, what makes Hartford region a great place to live, work, and play. One thing I always describe as Hartford is it's really whatever you need it to be. If you want it to be, a place for you to develop your career, we've talked about all the great things going on with the finance and insurance industry. And we have, obviously, accounting. It's whatever major city has, but it's whatever you need it to be. So personally, Kristina, you talked about all the great little pop-ups, the workout classes, the stadiums, and whatever you need it to be. So if you could add one last thing about what makes Hartford a great place for young professionals specifically, is there anything you'd want to add, Octave?
Yeah, on top of that, I think a couple of things. First, it's an affordable place, right? I think, it kind of has all the perks of a large city, less the cost. So I think I was getting out of school, so I really appreciated that. Again, I think going back to your point that whatever you need it to be, so whatever you're into, so there's a really great art community, right? If you're into art, if you're into food, there's tons of places to eat. I think that was the perfect description of like whatever you need it to be. And then the last part, which I don't know, if you're an entrepreneur of some kind, I feel like there's different, I think I'm thinking of Reset, for example, like different incubators or different programs that are, different resources that are there to help get you support of some kind if you're thinking about starting your own business or anything like that. I think as a young professionals, those things, maybe you're not there, you're not interested in creating a business, but whenever you get there, there's a lot of systems here to get you there. And I've really, really appreciated that.
Yeah. How about you, Dan?
Yeah, I was going to echo Octave's points about affordability. I mean, there's something to be said about actually being able to live outside of your house after you buy it. I think that's possible here in Connecticut. So I think little things like that, but I think what's going on in the area and kind of similarly to what we've been echoing is it's kind of up and coming. We used to joke around when I was in high school that Hartford was like New England's rising star. I think that was the city slogan. I mean, I'll date myself, but that was 10 years ago. And we're still kind of getting up there with some of those bigger names because we're kind of stuck in between maybe Boston and New York. But I think that's a perk. I mean, I think that we don't have to deal with the issues that a lot of those larger metropolitan areas have to deal with, and we get all the good stuff. So I think that's what's keeping people here.
Yeah. Isn't the motto of Hartford now, Hartford has it?
There you go.
Right. So we're a rising star and now we have it. Kristina, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with both Dan and Octave. And I'd also add that because it is smaller and tighter in a tighter knit community, if there's something that you're passionate about or something that you really want to make a difference with, you kind of have the platform to do it. Whereas in larger cities, you might get a little lost in the sauce or not know how to navigate it. This is an easy city to navigate. And I feel like that really supports you and whatever you want to kind of do. Like Dan mentioned, and you can email Tyler or email somebody and they'll connect you with 5 people right then and there. Or Octave, I think you mentioned that. They'll connect you with 5 people right then and there and say, reach out to this person. It's like, you've already made so much traction to whatever it is your goal is, just through that tight-knit network. So I think it sets it apart from a lot of our surrounding cities.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think we've kind of hit on the point of, we're in this new environment post-COVID too, where a lot of the working structure has gone remote or a remote hybrid. And so, from a city standpoint and from a region standpoint, I think we've all given, great reasons why even, from a remote standpoint, you should still live and work here in the Hartford region. Anything from that you're looking forward to in 2022, either from a Hartford-centric standpoint or work-wise, that you're excited about, that you're ready to do or ready to get back to, Kristina?
So I think that before the pandemic hit, Hartford had some really good momentum going with a lot of the small businesses that were coming in, with the big businesses kind of expanding their employee base. And, of course, the pandemic hurt that in Hartford and everywhere. But, being out at that event this morning, Tyler, like you couldn't help but feel the energy and the optimism for what there is to come in Hartford. And I think that there's a real focus on, let's help entrepreneurs open up the shops of their dreams, and let's have it downtown, and let's block off the streets on Sundays to get everybody there. And, there's this real community kind of feel that is exciting to be part of. And it, makes you want to come back into the city if you don't live there, on the weekends. It makes you want to stay in the city if you do live there. And it's cool to be able to kind of see it building and building and building, and to support it and be part of it. It just makes you feel like you have a community, and if you're working remote, I think it's still one of those things where it's like, you can't help but find things on social media and say, these 3 restaurants weren't here a couple months ago, let's go check them out. And then on the way, you see a museum that you never saw, and you see a new park that has been cleaned up. And so it's just, there's really, really good momentum. So I think that, just kind of seeing Hartford for what it is today and what it can be is more exciting now than ever.
That's awesome. How about you, Dan? Anything you're excited about, looking forward to in 2022, work-wise, Hartford region-wise?
Yeah, I mean, my wife might murder me if I don't mention that our family is starting this May. So we're excited for that, obviously, to kind of raise our little one in an area that's got some fun things going on. But I mean, also, I'll shamelessly plug that there are amazing golf courses around here that I'm excited to play on this summer. I think I won't get to go on the Travelers Championship course, but it's going to be pretty cool to see some big names come into Connecticut for that big prestigious golf tournament, as well as playing some of the local courses. So, kids and golf. That's the exciting part.
I'm walking across the street to Rockledge in about 25 minutes.
You're a big jerk. That's all I'll say.
Octave, how about you?
Yeah, man, I hope I get into some golf. Maybe Tyler, I'll let you know so you can teach me. I think the biggest thing, I love spring and summer out here. I mean, the Hartford region. I think there's just tons to do. I think specifically something else I'm looking forward to. I haven't been to a Art Good game yet, so I think
Friday
that's something.
Friday night's opening night. Let's go.
Yeah, so hopefully, we'll see if I can make that happen.
Awesome. Well, as we wrap up here, I would just like to leave a quick little plug myself for the young professional group that I'm currently chair of. It's called HYPE, Hartford Young Professionals and Entrepreneurs, hypehartford.com. We're on all social media. If you are new to the area, or if you are looking to live and work and play here in the Hartford region, I highly encourage you to check us out. We have a lot of great resources for you here in the Hartford region. I know Dan's also chair or president of another organization called SPARC. So, we have a lot of resources here, but I just want to leave you with that, we're all excited to have you here, to hope that, you all stay here, and we're here to welcome you and give you, extend our resources to all of you, and hope we can help keep you here for the long term. We all love it here, and we want to make this city continue to rise and continue to have it for a long time to come. So with that, any closing words? I'll go from my left to right. So Dan, any closing words for the group?
No, I think we laid it out pretty well. I mean, clearly I'm sold on being here for the long term. So you don't have to pitch me anything else. But yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kristina?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, finance and insurance are big right now, and that's a great place to start here. But whatever you want to do, I mean, there's new things popping up everywhere. So I think it's just a really good, exciting place to start your career and kind of see where it takes you from there.
Perfect. And Octave?
I think the only thing I would add is, I think as we said it earlier, we are very open and we love to help. So if you have questions or interested in anything we may, offer, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Perfect. Well, thank you all very much. And again, please reach out. We are all approachable. We all want you here. We all want to make you a part of our greater Hartford community and part of this family. So thank you again, and best of luck with your job search and your careers. And again, thank you.